Hey, everybody. So, want to talk to you today about our summative assignment for this unit. It will take place over the next 2 days, over lessons 5 and lesson 6. And we're going to kind of bring in everything that we've done in this unit. And to date, you've taken a look at headlines, you've taken a look at how to construct the body of a news article, you've planned how to do a news article. And so now we're going to put it all together. You're actually going to brainstorm, plan, outline, and write your own news report. This will be the biggest assignment that you've done to date, probably just in terms of the most writing, although the majority of it will come from your brain and your imagination sometimes, and you'll kind of create your own news article. There's a little bit of writing to do. So please don't be intimidated, don't be daunted by this writing task. This is what we're doing here in literacy, the ability to take information, get it down on the page. Everyone is doing really well so far that's handed out their stuff in. So I have total faith you guys can do it. And I think you're going to have a little fun with this assignment. So I'm just going to walk you through what we're doing today and briefly talk about what we'll be doing tomorrow. I'll put another video tomorrow in the lesson detailing what to do then. So for today, we are going to be full screen, taking a look at creating our news report, and especially today, the planning and the rough drafting of a news report. So our learning goal is to go through the writing process to complete a rough draft for an original news report. Talking a little bit about this quote talks a little bit about the responsibility that news reporters have. A lot of times they serve a role in society. They give a voice to people who have no voice. They give strength to people that have no strength. And we do rely on them to be truthful and unbiased in their recounting of events. So our conclusion, we briefly did a conclusion yesterday in our outline. So today, the conclusion we know is known as the third tier of the report. So some few bullet points about what some key aspects of the conclusion are. Should reinforce a key message using clever language or a summary quotation. If you have a really good quotation from a source, or you think of a really good quotation for your report, save it to the end. Usually it's usually your second best quotation to reward the reader who stays and keeps reading the story, and any other information you can come up with. So basically your best quote in the story needs to be early, and your second best quote we want to save for late in the story. So you have to kind of come up with what is your best and second best quote. Here we have a pretty good activity that was done by the Ministry of Ontario that you can go by. It's interactive. It'll help with your understanding of what is the introduction, body, and conclusion of a news report, what they look like, what to put in there, and along with a bunch of other things about headline, byline, that kind of thing. It's a really good activity. It just takes a couple minutes. It's interactive. It's going to ask you questions. It'll let you know if you're right or wrong. So please go through that, and I think it will help with this assignment. Little blurb here about Anderson Cooper, the very famous anchor on CNN, had a learning issue himself, had dyslexia, and to talk about what he had to do to work through it. So I'm going to talk about the assignment itself here. So what you're going to do is you're going to write a news report over the next 2 days. Okay, so this is an assignment that won't be due today. It'll actually be due tomorrow at the end of lesson 6, and you will. When you're done, you will kind of put everything in one document and hand it in. You're going to write a news report on anything that you want, something of your choosing. You could go back and take a look at some of those, the links that I gave you, and look at some actual news reports that happen and use the content of that article as the basis of your article. One thing I ask is if you're going to use a news article that was done on a topic that's obviously been previously written, you cannot simply copy and paste. You always want to come up with new information. I want to know what you think, not what someone else does. Anybody can just copy and paste anything from the internet. So if you are going to be using a topic that you found in another newspaper article, please do not lift any of the lines or issues from there into and pass it off as your own work. So you can either choose something you've read about before or make something completely up. Doesn't matter, totally up to you. But again, as always, please try to make sure that what you're doing is somewhat interesting. Then you're going to brainstorm. Okay, and so how you're going to brainstorm is you're going to use the Google document that I provided yesterday. same kind of document that you did yesterday, creating your report. You're going to come up with a headline, a byline, your hook or your lead, who the article pertains to, or who it's about, what, your 5 W's, and your H. Then you're going to come up with at least three quotations. It's quoted properly in quotation marks with hopefully 3 different sources. And you'll see I'm going to give you an example. Giving you an exemplar that fills this stuff out, and you'll really pay close attention to the exemplar. Actually, Vanessa will walk you through it on the video here. Pay close attention to how that person did it, because I think it's a really excellent example of how this assignment was done. So make sure we have 3 different sources. Then you have you wrap everything up here. This is your conclusion of what you're going to say and what you're going to do. So what I'd like to do right now is click over to Vanessa, and she will basically explain how the nuts and bolts of this assignment is going to be done.
So this student's headline, Snapchat forced Eponia $565 million after a class action lawsuit against them. They've included their byline and their introduction or lead, and then they've brainstormed here below. They've included who it's directed at, what it's about, and all of this pertinent information. And then they've also made up quotes that are from different sources, so none of them are the same, that would be relevant in the article when they go to write it, and then their detailed conclusion. In the rough draft down below, and you can use the information from up here. So for the headline, for example, you can go in and you can copy and then bring it down below and format it as an article and paste it. So you'd start with your headline, your byline down below, and then your lead, and then your supporting paragraphs you would write with your quote information. Below that, then you'd also have your conclusion. So at this point, once you've put it all together and formatted it as a news article, is when you're going to go through and edit your work. So you can use spell check. You can also copy and paste it into Grammarly to look at any punctuation or grammar issues that it highlights or errors that come up. And then you can paste it back in as your final draft. You might want to do some formatting. Here, this student made their font larger and bolder for the headline and started to look at some of the details. So in the body of the article, you can see the student has incorporated their quotes, but also included introductions before the source quotes, and then details about who the source is following any quotes that have been included. So this is an example for this Unit 2 Lesson 5 assignment of what it can look like with the template done, the edited draft, your rough draft, and then your edited being your final draft down below. So you can include it all in the same Google document and hand it in.
I think that's a great exemplar and a great look at
that's what you'll need to
exactly how to do this assignment. We've given you another exemplar here. That is, if you click on this link with some pointers that you can take a look at. It's very colorful, kind of talks exactly, breaks it up into headline, byline, the lead, what it is, introduction, goes through a sample piece, the body, quotations, why they are the way they are, the conclusion, and then some overall kind of tips on exactly how to have some success on this assignment. I really think that if you look at the exemplar that was given to you on this video by Vanessa, as well as this one, you shouldn't have any issues at all in terms of understanding length or what you need to have including. So there you have it. There is a rubric attached to this as well. The rubric is here. Make a copy of it. Get my limit. And please take a look at the rubric in detail. It lets you know what to focus on if you want a level 4